Um, so today let's look at um, something interesting where people can build their own systems which will help them. For the current, you can say, exercise or an actual outcome, also how you would go about your day and what should a command center look like, which is not just a document but it's interactive as well. So that's what we are going to do today. So on, I've just named it how to build your own interactive command center. The emphasis on interactive so that you can build more on top of these. And the subtitle, again, I've chosen it with a specific emphasis, is that it's designed by you, built by you, to your liking. So currently, for this example, what I thought of was, hey, if I'm starting my day, maybe I have certain action items to do. So it should have a today's focus to do kind of a list here. Um, right. So today's focus is here, where you can add a specific action item for today, delete it or complete it, and you would get a summary of what are the tasks for today. But that might not be the entire scenario, where you need to depend on certain external services or other dependent, you can say, team members. So for example, you would have book a meeting with a team member or a specific prospect and all those. So what do we need? We need a calendar replication in this command center, so that whatever is happening outside, which is in a different UI called Google Calendar, should come here. One more such dimension that I can think of is emails. So your list of action items on one side, your calendar meetings, which are a synchronous thing, and your emails where you get certain updates on, maybe someone is asking for something, or maybe someone sent you a proposal, or someone got back to you on um, a payment or an invoice or anything of that sort. So I think these are the skeleton of your command center. And again, so this exercise would make you comfortable on how you can build something that is tailored for you. This is just a starting point. And say, for example, as an uh, further action item, you can say that I need a summary of my emails rather than just my emails showing up here. If something is in the calendar, it should come to my to do also. So the possibilities are endless, and I think it'll mostly go into people's preferences on how would they want to look at it. But again, the emphasis is on it's to your liking. So my win is if I can enable you to do so. For that to happen, I feel that keywords are important. On these are the keywords that you should know to go build it out for yourself. First of that is live artifact. So what is a live artifact? So the thing that you're seeing here, right, on the right screen, I mean, I can um, show you my live artifact, but I think it might have some data which I don't want to redact and do that stuff. But I'm using a screenshot here, but let's build it out. You'll see it there. But live artifact is this something that is interactive as a dashboard for you, right? So it is the command center to for you to make any action or display anything that would make you take an action. So it is an actionable, you can say document, you can say live document, you can say dashboard, you can say command center, but something where you can see the screen and think of these are the actions that I should take. No boundary for unclearness. Right? So live artifact is the technical keyword that Claude would use, and that is a feature name that they have. But I'm gonna decompress it into like what it can mean to you. So when you want something similar of this sort, the keyword that you'll have to use on Claude would be I need a live artifact for this. That's it. So keywords become important because then you compress what you wanted to say into a specific keyword which Claude can understand. So this is the fluency you can start building around. Now, another factor is, say if you're maintaining to-dos, you could have easily maintained it in a file, right? So treat that as an analogy itself. One thing that I've noticed is when you start asking storage in Claude, it'll have a bias of always throwing you terms like databases, which you may or may not be familiar with, but you don't need to complicate your life. Everything can be a file, and the interpretation of that file to tick mark it on completing a to do or something need not happen on a database. It can be just a file which AI is translating it for you. So you don't have to take care of it. But all of it says that have this keyword ki like use files as storage, right? So that Claude doesn't confuse you or Claude doesn't complicate it for you. So that can be another point. Use files for storage would be better. And I'm writing it down on Claude so that we get the reference of these items and we'll build it live right now. Right. So project, right. I think I should have, that should be the starting point, but it's okay. So why do we need project? Is that, so if you can see on the left navigation bar, there is something called as project. So project can be a collection of your items which is stored to a certain folder in your system so that you can organize it better, right? And it will always be from that folder and you'll never walk out of that boundary. So for that to happen, let's start a new project. For now, I'll say my command center. To-dos, calendar meetings, and email. So it will create a project in a certain project location in your system. You don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is hit create. Right. So once this is created, let's minimize this. Right. So now you can start adding these keywords that I need a live artifact for this. Use files as storage so that everything is stored in place here. The third thing now we require is, so we completed to do, we completed that this can be organized. We went over that what is this feature that is enabling us to build a command center. One thing that is missing is the information that we need from a third party service, which is from Google. They have a calendar feature, and you can say a platform in itself. They have an email platform. So how would you get that data to here? One obvious, you can say, crude way would be like you copy paste the items, but or you create a manual entry of it or a manual log of it, which is very mundane way of doing it, right? This is where AI can help better with Claude. But the actual thing that will help you do it inside Claude is something called as connectors. So what is a connector? Connector is, you can say, sort of a pipeline or an integration that has been built so that AI can interact with it. You just need to sign it off to say, okay, like you can use my service. This is my email ID. This is the service that I'm already using. You just need to get the data from there without me being manually involved in it. AI will be the brain for it. The connector will go fetch it and get you that data. So you need to say, and again, if you want to do manually add any connector, we can go to customize. There is a let me expand this a bit. So there is skills which we already know of, but connectors is something which is here. So if you want to manually add any connector, you can go here and say browse connectors. You'll see n number of connectors that you have. Again, this is one way of doing it, but instead of this, if you say, if you go to the project, my command center where you have pasted this, and say browse and find me the right connectors for this. Find me the right connectors for this to work. So connectors is the keyword here, but I've just given it an action item on what it should do. So now these are the keywords that you have used, but what's missing is the idea that what we want to build, right? So that is where we can, move to the top and say, I need a command center where I can add my action items for the day, mark it completed, remove it, and sorts. What I want also is my meetings and emails to be in the same command center so that it's actionable for me. So let's start with this. Now I would say this is a starting point for us, right? So let me add it here so that I can sharing with this someone. But so this is the starting point. Now you have explained what you need, and you have used the right, say, keywords, so that Claude can understand what exactly do you want of that outcome and how do you want it to be. So if we do that, if we hit enter, it'll start analyzing this and it will run. Feel free to move this into 2x or 3x speed. But yeah, so it should create a live artifact now, which is a command center. It should use files for storage, and it should find you the right connectors and ask you to connect to it, rather than you going in the UI and connecting for it. So let's see if all of my hypothesis will be taken care of here, and how that would look like if you were the one who was building this. See, so good thing. So now it already told you for your email, Gmail connector is there. You need to connect it. So that is why it is giving you a button. For Google Calendar also, it is the same thing. If you want more, you can browse more, or you can ask Claude to browse more for you based on the outcome. You don't need to think about what's there and not there. You can tell AI that this is what I want, and it will go and fetch the right information or right connector or right skill for you, right? So let's connect these both. So you would be asked for all these necessary authentication. You just have to hit continue and go back to Claude. It says connected, Gmail is connected now. The next thing to connect is Google Calendar. It would ask you a bunch of questions, like to authorize it, you just need to hit continue, say that you're okay to trust the specific project, And yes, so while you were connecting, Claude has went ahead and started making some uh, progress in building the dashboard while this is getting connected. Let's wait for a couple of minutes and this will be built. While this is being built, let me go to the chat where I had already built this. Um, right. So I had gone on an exploratory mode on what can be an example for live artifact, and this told me like this is how it can look. And once I saw this as a visual layer, I told like yeah, this looks good. There is email, there is calendar, there is today's task, and I told like create a live artifact for this, and it went ahead and created on the site. Same thing, I had to connect it, and you can start adding more things here. I mean, at that point, I had told it to do where there was no you interacting with it. I had interacted it via Claude. We'll come to that in the live example, but what I wanted to showcase was once the live artifact was built, um, let me see if that is here. No. So it's in the same image, right? So once that artifact was built on the right, what I wanted was now a shareable prompt so that these other folks can go create it. So this is an interesting tidbit where if you have worked on something and achieved something, other people don't have to start right from the scratch. I'm explaining all these terms in more granularity so that you get associated with these keywords and how to get things done. But if you have achieved something and you want to share it to someone who doesn't want to go through this process, all you have to do is once the artifact is done, you say that give me a prompt so that this can be built in one conversation, and you can copy that whole prompt and give it to someone. What would that look like is, so I asked me for give me a shareable prompt. Before that, I had asked uh, the right. I might be missing a message, but yes. So look at this. So it gave us a detailed prompt on what all should exist based on the live artifact that I had already built. So you don't have to go through explaining all the things that you built for yourself. Everything is accounted for here, and right. So what this does is you can share something that you have already built in a condensed textual format which is called a prompt to someone so that they can just copy paste this in their Claude and they can get started with it rather than going through an iterative process. Alright, so let's get back to our command center. So it says create artifact command center, personal command center for all these things. Okay, yours that that is working. Let's hit create. So when you hit create, it will start creating a live dashboard which is on the right. It will say what are the things that are here, and you can expand this. My recent meetings got connected here, but I think this is from the Fathom. Okay, so one more thing happened. I had a connector called Fathom, which is my AI note taker for meetings. Since this was already connected, it went and fetched my recent meetings and started storing, giving me the links to it here. Now, the inbox um, hasn't shown my latest emails. So let's hit refresh and check if that gets populated. No, it's not working. So now let's go on to more specific, um, you can say, instructions that we can give so that this gets tailored towards our needs. Since I had not mentioned Fathom, it took an assumption and went ahead with it just because it was connected to my Claude. Now I'll say I don't need Fathom to be displayed here. I need my calendar events from my Google Calendar, and my inbox doesn't show any new emails. So make sure that you display at least uh, last emails from last 24 hours. So now it built a V1. We are straight away going on V2 version 2 of how we want it to be rather than it deciding for itself. Meanwhile, let's check an action item. Complete this record. Right, so an action item is created here. One more interesting thing that we can do is that if you have a visual idea of what it should look like, which is from my previous artifact, I can just go, so take a screenshot of this, right, and come here and paste it and say this is how I want it to look like. That's another instruction. So you don't have to be bound by what it is giving you, nor you have to explain it in words on place it on the right, place it on the left or something. Even if you have like a pen and paper, draw something around it, say that this is an inbox, and actually let me give an example. So you can just draw A4 size paper types and say that to-dos should be here, calendar should be here, email, a progress bar. So if you write something like this and share it as an image, that should also be enough to convey the information. You don't have to verbally give each and every information. See, now this is a compressed information that you're giving to Claude rather than speaking in multiple paragraphs. So you can always be creative like this, and with AI, the more the creative you are, the quicker you'll achieve the result, because all it needs is an information, not how long of an instruction are you giving. um, let's try it out, like let's let this build and maybe we can try it out at the end, or I'll, in the risk of extending this exercise video, um, I'll probably do another session on how you can be creative around your prompts. So one thing that you could have done was the add button here is, um, you can say, blocked. So you could always say like the add button is blocked, and you need to do a better UX of it. So I think that's another keyword. I mean, this is, you can say, a generic keyword not specific to Claude, but if you want to say that the experience has to be better, or the placements of components has to be better, all you have to say is like, give me a better UX. So then you can ideate. So what is UX? UX is user experience. Right. So the problem is it will take some time. I mean, um, you can just always fast forward this. Um, I would from next time make an edit that does this better. I mean, show that so that this video can be much shorter. All right. Think it has gone to the updating phase. It is saying that it is updating it. Right. So it is asking you for your permission. Let's hit update and see. Voila. See, it's pretty similar in the design, right? Sorry. I mean, almost exact, to be honest. So, right. So you have this here. You have things to do. It has added some buttons which is picked from the other artifact, but these buttons are your next step on what you want to do as an action item. But yeah, so yes, this is here, and hope to see that you can expand on it. First, get to a place where you have some kind of a dashboard like this. So if you see, also one more thing, how to access these is that once you pin this, right? So you have an option to pin or unpin. You would always have this here in the pinned section on the left. So if you go to command center, it will be in a full screen view for you, right? And whenever you feel ki like it doesn't have probably the latest information or something, just hit refresh and it will probably fetch something which is not there. So it can be that make sure to edit the videos next. So this can be a to do for me, and plan for the videos to be shorter and sharper. It's a to do. um, I mean, I need to give an example, right? So make a video for command center. So let's add that and just see that I completed one task. See, it already reflected on this, right? So it is saying 0 meetings because both of these are from different um, dates that I know. But what you can do is that once you see this as a thing, so this meeting is from Monday and this meeting is from Tuesday next week, but it is not showing that information anywhere. So that is where you need to go back to your project, my command center, either in the same chat or in a new chat. All you have to say is that my meetings does not display the date, and it will go work on it and change that around. Let's see if it quickly does that. Right, it assessed as a small targeted fix for sure. But by the way, I would invite you, to anyone who is working with Claude um, or any other AI tool, be cognizant of what it is saying in the chat. Rather than skipping it, I would want you to always look into what it has built, what was its thought process, which is, I mean, which is not displayed for the first, but if you expand on it, you will get a understanding. The user wants to replace the Fathom meetings, fix the email section, all those things. Let's go to the first one and look at all the things it has thought through, so that you get more insights on what it is trying to do from the set of instructions that you have. This can be a micro feedback on um, all these things. So micro feedback on how are you communicating with AI, and is it landing for AI on whatever you're trying to communicate? Is it understanding your intent better or not? So what this was do is ki, like week over week you'll always think about how to communicate to AI better, rather than you feeling lost of, hey, I'm giving more instructions but it is not working. So it's always a good habit, especially while it's generating, which will take some time, to read through its thoughts, its responses, so that you can always think about having it like a conversation, proactively understanding what your intent or what your instruction is getting uh, translated into its own thoughts. And that is how you can start doing it. So it has asked for an update. Let's check check that. Right. It's Monday, Tuesday. Um, right. So this is now good, but it regressed on something. What is that? I think this exercise was good on surfacing something that AI will go wrong without an explicit intent. Pause this video and see what was different from the previous artifact and here. I caught up on it. Okay, hope you have made sense. Uh, what went wrong was it deleted the to-dos that I had generated already. So now the thing to think about is, in sharing this information that to-dos went, to-dos went missing, how to tackle this. Uh, the follow-up question can be, do you want to-dos for a certain day? Do you want it to be stored across multiple days, or what kind of an interaction do you need? I think this will be more um, tailored toward your need, but having that here, having that intention of you sharing that here will be beneficial for both you and AI, and that is how you'll start building this for yourself, right? All right, I'll cut this video for now. um, Take this as a homework from this exercise, and let me know what turned out from this. But yeah, something should be like, I came to a dashboard which is on Claude. From here I can make certain actions, and this can be more longer also, with emails, with Fathom meetings, with different other things which you can think of ki, like we should connect. Maybe if you have Slack or something, connect it. But this is a starter project. I'll cut the scope of it. I want you to explore more and get back to me. One thing I'll say, uh, Claude maintains the artifacts version, so it will be current, and the rest of the versions that you had created previously. So if you want to just go back and see, you can always uh, go back to that specific version and check it out if you want. If you feel something got lost or something was an unintended change, you can always restore that specific version. All right, thank you for this. Let me know what will you do next.